Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. I saw the other day with Alexa, that's been a talk and which is understandable. There's some players coming from respective countries like she's coming from Philippines, which is now a big deal. She's been the biggest ever, tennis player from that country, which is big country, and there's big interest. So things like that happen. I mean, you could argue that it was, maybe a poor schedule and maybe they could schedule him on a bigger court. Yes. But again, she's so young and she's just coming through. So, and obviously the first couple rounds the schedule is so packed. The big courts with big names. It's difficult. It's not easy to manage that. But again, it's a good problem to have, to be honest. This was definitely one of the bigger Filipino turnout. I also knew New York was huge. It was tough because it also depends what court you're on. That you feel the noise and things. I would say the top two so far have been Melbourne and New York. Aryna Sabalenka just watched her status as the biggest star at the Australian Open get completely obliterated by Eala. The reigning champion is playing perfect tennis to half-empty stadiums, while 5,000 fans storm Court 6 to watch a 20-year-old Filipino qualifier. The viewership numbers, gear sales, and online buzz for Eala have officially eclipsed the world music #1. The hierarchy just collapsed in Melbourne. Cheering. Do you think Alexia's popularity surge is legitimate star power, or is it just Filipino community support creating temporary hype? Drop your honest take below. Let's establish exactly what happened in Melbourne, because the scale of this disruption is genuinely unprecedented in modern tennis. Eala, a 20-year-old from the Philippines, ranked outside the top 100, generated more attention, more crowd energy, and more media coverage than Aryna Sabalenka, the defending Australian Open champion and world #1. That's not an exaggeration or biased interpretation. That's documented reality based on attendance figures, viewership data, and social media metrics. I mean, she played incredible match, and I try my very best. I was fighting till the very last point. I had my opportunities. Feels like I missed couple, but I mean, it's tennis. Today you're a loser, tomorrow you're a winner. So hopefully I'll be more of a winner this season than a loser. So hoping right now and praying. Thank you. Sabalenka is playing championship-level tennis on center courts with perfect scheduling and premium broadcast slots. She's demolishing opponents with her trademark power game, hitting aces and crushing ground strokes exactly like everyone expected. And she's doing it in front of scattered crowds with empty seats visible in the stands. Meanwhile, Eala is playing on outer courts, the small venues designed for early round matches, and generating such massive crowds that security had to be increased because fans were climbing fences and trash cans trying to get sidelines. The specific numbers are absolutely mind-blowing. Tournament directors confirmed that when I was scheduled for Court 6, which holds approximately 1,500 people, over 5,000 fans showed up. They couldn't all fit. They overwhelmed the facility. Security logs show they exceeded fire safety limits by 300%. People were literally hanging from music fences, screaming support in a way you'd expect at a World Cup football match, not a polite tennis tournament. And here's where it gets truly embarrassing for Sabalenka. While she was playing a televised match on center court, Eala was doing warm-up drills on Court 10, just practice shots, not even a competitive match. And the viewership data from Southeast Asia and the Pacific showed that 40% more people were watching Eala's warm-ups than Sabalenka's actual competition. Read that again. Practice drills drew higher viewership than the defending champion's match. That statistic has sent advertisers and tournament organizers into complete panic because it signals a fundamental shift in who actually moves the needle for tennis viewership. It's not the player with the best results or the highest ranking. It's the player who connects emotionally with massive demographics that previously didn't care about tennis. The contrast between how these two players are being treated by fans and media is stark. Sabalenka walks into press conferences and gets asked about fan base instead of her own performance. She's giving technically perfect answers about her game, and reporters are ignoring her to ask follow-up questions about the Filipino phenomenon happening 50 yards away on the outer courts. That has to be psychologically devastating. You're the world #1. You're the defending champion. You're playing the best tennis of your life. And you're being treated like a supporting character in someone else's story. The queen is watching the crown slip away in real time. And there's nothing she can do about it because this isn't about tennis quality. It's about cultural connection. The Melbourne Park grounds have been transformed. Normally at Grand Slams, you see flags from dozens of countries scattered throughout the crowds. This year it's an ocean of red, blue, and yellow. Filipino flags everywhere. The chanting is so loud it drowns out the PA system on adjacent courts. The atmosphere is more like a Davis Cup tie where national pride is on the line than an individual tournament. Sabalenka represents peak tennis excellence. The January sun blazed over Melbourne Park like a spotlight that refused to dim. The blue courts shimmered. The crowd buzzed. Flags snapped in the dry Australian heat. And somewhere between Rod Laver Arena and the outer practice courts, something unexpected was happening. Not on the scoreboard. Not in the rankings. But in the stands. For years, Aryna Sabalenka had ruled Melbourne like a storm queen. Power serves cracking like thunder. Ground strokes exploding off her racket. Roars that echoed through the rafters of Rod Laver Arena. Australia loved her fire. The crowd adored her raw emotion. She wasn't just a champion at the Australian Open. She was box office. But this year, the noise was different. It started as a murmur, a ripple. Then it became a wave. Eala, Eala, Eala. At first, Sabalenka thought it was background chatter, the usual excitement that floats across the grounds during week one. But the chant kept coming. Louder, rhythmic, passionate. Because on a nearby court, under a sky painted in sharp summer blue, Eala was playing. And Australia had fallen in love. The rise of a new darling. Eala wasn't supposed to be the headline. She wasn't the defending champion. She wasn't seated in the top 5. She wasn't blasting 190 km/h serves or screaming after every winner. But she was electric in a different way. Fluid footwork, tactical intelligence, a calm that seemed almost rebellious in its quietness. And most of all, heart. Filipino flags began appearing in clusters around Melbourne Park. Green, red, blue, yellow sun and stars flashing in the stands. Families drove from Sydney. Students flew in from Brisbane. Entire communities,